Hey guys, it's Carlos from Spark. So this is going to be the first video of many videos to come to help our jiu-jitsu brothers and sisters stay on the mat and train hard. This video is going to cover some of the taping techniques that I get asked a lot of questions about. So how do I tape my fingers? What's the point? What if I injure my hands? And so we're going to go into some techniques, but the first thing, and probably the most important, is having your tape already set up. And so I've got a couple rolls of tape here and set up in such a way where I keep this in my bag. And if I've got a finger or a knuckle injury from grip fighting or having somebody yank the lapel out of my hand, this is a first step we go to. This is our little third width diameter tape, and so very, very simple. It's great for adding stripes to your belt overnight, you know, like when you want to promote yourself. Don't do that. And then we have our normal roll of tape, which can be cut up into half widths, or it can be cut if you used just like as it is for wrist taping and that. So let's set up this piece of this roll of tape. What we're going to do real basically is going to peel a little bit away, and you don't have to use surgical scissors, but I got some nice pretty scissors, and I'm going to cut just thirds, okay, real simple, 1 and then 2. And then what you're going to have to do is kind of unwind a bit of it, and you'll see here that we've got this tape cut into thirds. I'm going to push it back down, and then I'm going to hold down the middle section. I'm going to peel up and tear all the way around. So I'm going to do this a couple times. It's going to be a little bit of a waste, but that's okay. And then from here, we have one strip of that third all set up for us. We'll do the same thing with the others, and so what you get is this. After a while, you'll want to make sure you don't come down to the level of the other side, or else you rip it all back again and you have to recut it. This is going to be super useful for taping up the space between your knuckles. And so what happens is when we are grip fighting, and someone attempts to rip their lapel out of your hand, unless you let go, your fingers rotate, they go sideways, and they don't have a lot of structural support in those directions naturally. So you traumatize the ligaments, and those ligaments hold those muscles down that attach to all the digits. So what we want to do is support them. I've taken a couple pieces of tape. Very, very simple. You're going to come between the joints. Let's say if it's this finger, a lot of times before I roll, I will feel around and say, okay, well, I got some tenderness there, and I got some tenderness here. So I'm going to support the ligaments that hold the muscles down. So when I grip, I'm not adding more tension to a healing area on my finger. And so I'm going to wrap it around a couple times, and I'm not doing it super tight. Okay. Another thing to be very aware of is if you want tape to hold, you want to tape to tape. I don't tape to skin in a lot of tension because it's going to come undone. You'll sweat, the oils in your skin are going to get rid of that tape. And so the idea there is 1 or 2 laps around just like that, and I'll go above and below. And I want to show that concept of we're taping, I'm just barely laying this down. When I come around and I hit the top and I've overlapped tape, now I can add some tension. I can pull down a little bit, and I'm not cutting off the circulation, and I can add a little more tension, and then I'm done. So if I'm trying to support this knuckle that has become injured by excessive twisting force or inside or outside kind of motion, this is going to support that. My finger has not turned purple yet. If I squeeze my nail bed that refills with blood, that's normal. Looks good. I'm ready to go here. And this is probably not going to come off as long as I didn't tape it really, really hard. So that's the first technique. Second is an important technique if we get an injury where our knuckle or finger or wrist for that matter go in one direction a little bit too much. We've had it where you're stuck under somebody and maybe that finger gets pushed back too far and that really hurts. It might even cause you to tap, but it definitely will injure the knuckles. And so what we want to do is do an X technique. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to apply tape anchors. And so in this case, I might anchor around the top. Okay, and again, the idea here is I'm setting a place for tape to stick to tape so it's nice and solid. There's one, and this is probably a little bit long for an anchor because it is my pinky, but it's okay. So setting an anchor, and I might just rip this off. Okay, so that's out of there. So now I have my tape anchors. Now I'm going to take tape and form an X. Okay, and I'm going to come down to the other side of this tape anchor, and I'm going to come back up. Okay, the idea there is that this is a little sloppy, but I will not be able to easily extend back because as I do so, this tape becomes taut. Okay, there are other ways to do this. You can use smaller strips. The idea, you can add a second X and then you want to re-anchor. Okay, so once you have this X set up in that figure 8 formation, I will re-anchor the tape. I'll put another piece of tape down here and then tighten that up. Because again, the tape that is on top is going to lock that down. Same here. And now if I had an injury that would have bothered this finger as it extends, that's when this tape gets taut. So it supports that in that range of motion. Okay, so those are the two most basic techniques for protecting fingers after they become traumatized from training. Keep tape in your bag, third widths, full roll of tape. This stuff's not terribly difficult to cut. Keep it on yourself and ice those injuries quickly, tape them up to support, and keep training. Os.